This isn't a review for Back for Blood. I have not put enough time into this game to be able to make a review, and there's a lot of other channels out there who most likely did a review on this game anyway. So this is just my personal thoughts on the game, and it won't really be very technical, such as game mechanics and features. More so on just how I felt during the gameplay. And if you want to see a review, there's other channels you can check out, as I mentioned. Or if you want me to do one, let me know and I'll think about doing a review for you guys. So I did manage to play the game with 3 of my friends. So we did get a team of 4. And we played maybe 2.5 hours of the game. And my friends seem to like it. They're having some fun with it. They are, past players of the Left 4 Dead series. They like these kind of games. For me, it was just boring. And I'm sorry to be the one to say it for those who like the game, but it was just boring to me. The characters weren't really that interesting to me. The gameplay just seemed pretty basic, and there doesn't seem to be much going on that gets me excited. I will say this though, there is a decent amount of enemy variety, and that's cool and all, but the enemy types weren't really anything to write home about, if you know what I mean. One example I'll give is in the first level we were battling the ogre, and it's this giant hulking monster. And my friends were asking me how I feel about that. What is my reaction to the giant monster we had to fight? And I don't know if their reactions are legit or they're just acting within that moment, but it didn't really do anything for me. I told them that, when you play one zombie game, you've played them all, and they didn't really agree with what I said, or when I said that. But what I really meant by that was, whether you're playing Back 4 Blood, Left 4 Dead, Call of Duty Zombies, Resident Evil, you see the same stuff typically within these games. You see the standard zombies, and then you got some special ones thrown in the mix. And with the ogre, for example, I've seen giant monsters in zombie games before. We've seen them in Call of Duty Zombies. So for me, it's another target to take down. That's all it was for me. Look at a game like Days Gone, for example. I haven't played that one either, but I've heard some good things about it. And the 2 things I want to mention about Days Gone is the motorcycle mechanic, which is something new to these kind of games, where you have to maintain your motorcycle, find gasoline to travel around the map, and you also have the huge horde of zombies that you have to deal with. When it comes to Back 4 Blood, it's almost as if they should have just called it Left 4 Dead 3, because that's basically what this is. It's basically a spin-off sequel type of thing for the Left 4 Dead series. And I think the reason why I actually enjoyed Left 4 Dead back in the day is because back then these zombie games were still kind of new, was kind of making its footing in our world of gaming. I think the only other games we had back then with zombies was Dead Rising and some of the older Resident Evil games. And with this one, it kind of seems a little too late for this type of gameplay. Even in Left 4 Dead, I kind of got a bit of a horror feeling when I played those games. And that's more so due to the atmosphere that you got from those games, as well as some of the special types like the witch from the Left 4 Dead series. I'm kind of mixed up between these games, as you can see. But games like that and games like the old Resident Evil games, they gave you that atmosphere to feel that horror. And in Back 4 Blood, you don't have it. And I don't know if other people feel the same way, but in my opinion, I think a zombie apocalypse game should be a bit of a horror experience, no matter how much action you also throw into the game. You look at Resident Evil, as I said, I was actually late to the Resident Evil franchise. I didn't get into the series until I played Resident Evil 7. And then I went back to play the first one, the fourth one. I played the remake of 2 and 3. And I played 8. I have played 5 and 6 in the past with my brother, but not enough for me to be into the series. And I loved the second remake. I loved 7. I loved 8. 3 remake, not so much. The first game, I played the remaster of the first one. And that one was also kind of horrifying in certain aspects. And I think even if those games had a co-op option, whether it's 2-player co-op or 4-player co-op, you still have that atmosphere of fear to be thrown into the mix. And that's something that this game is really missing. One of the problems I had with this game as well is how you're allowed to have one firearm and one close range weapon in a zombie apocalypse. There's a card system that you add different cards that give you different power ups like extra health, extra stamina. But I think this game should have had a system where each character has its own special ability. And I don't think that's a thing here. As far as I can see, there isn't special abilities per character. And it feels like each character you play as is no different than the other than the voice that you get to hear when you play as them. To me, that just seemed like a missed opportunity for a game that has 4-player co-op. I also heard supposedly you can't change the difficulty without restarting the whole game. I don't know how true that is. We haven't tested it. But the game isn't impossible to beat. It does have a bit of a challenge. That's another positive to it. There is some challenge to it. But nothing for you to bitch about and reset the whole game for an easier difficulty. It just seems, how you say, a normal challenge for you. Nothing too crazy. And I think as long as you have a team of players that you can rely on, who knows how to shoot, rather than a team of players who is always activating the crows to bring more enemies to you, you should be fine. But, like I said, it's really not here. I'm not here to talk about whether or not this game was great on a out of 10 rating. It's just for me to explain that I felt kind of bored with this game and all it had to offer. And it was a bit frustrating at times where certain enemies won't die no matter how much damage you deal to them, or you get killed over some bullshit. Also, the fact of being forced to carry one gun in this game. You're surrounded by zombies and you're only allowed one gun, which limits from what type you want to carry. Do you want to carry an assault rifle, a shotgun, a revolver, or a sniper rifle? I always stuck with the shotgun because I felt like it'll be the most successful in close range combat, but then I won't get to experience an assault rifle unless I remove the shotgun altogether. I also had a problem with the aiming towards the last time we played. For some reason, while aiming at zombies, it'll just force my aim towards the ground, even though I'm aiming for zombies' heads. I don't know why it happened. I never changed the aiming settings, and maybe it was just a bug in the game or something, but I just couldn't aim the way I wanted to aim. It just kept forcing me down. Another good thing about this game, for those who are enjoying it, is that there seems to be a lot of levels to the game. There is a lot to it. You will be here for a little bit of a while. But for someone like me who's not enjoying the game, it just seems like it'll be a tedious grind, and I'm only doing it so I can experience the game with my friends who are enjoying the game, just so that we do have a shared experience. But this just feels like a very basic zombie shooter with no horror, no diverse weapon system. There is like different types, but like I said, you're forced to carry one. Supposedly, your weapon attachments can't be removed from one gun to another. Characters just seem generic. And I think if you really want a horrifying zombie experience, you're either better off with some of the more recent Resident Evil releases, as well as Dying Light. Because whether you get Dying Light on PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch, if you get the complete edition, you have a lot of content in the game, you have a lot of horror, you have an open world to explore, the parkour, a pretty great weapon system, and you have a co-op option as well. Even though, from what I know as far, is it's only a 2-player co-op, not a 4-player co-op. There might be a more multiplayer option with one of the DLCs, I think. But overall, you're better off with those games instead of this one. Now, this one is on Game Pass, so you do have that option of not paying for the game. But if you want something horrifying to experience, even after Halloween, as we're in November now, and you have Game Pass, I hear Visage or Visage, however it's pronounced, is pretty horrifying. I didn't put enough time into that game as well. I played maybe a few minutes of it, but I have heard that it is pretty horrifying, and maybe you should give that one a try. Back for Blood, unfortunately, it's just not it.